So today's topic is methods and constructors in Java programming. In the last class, we have visited methods also. So whenever we discuss programming, we should concentrate on the things which are mostly used in programming. So one of the topics is methods. So without methods, any program is not possible. As part of Java programming, when we use methods, there may be many types. Methods can be anything. The major purpose of the methods is to perform some functionality based on the requirement. So methods can be visited in variety ways. In the last class, we visited some of the topics like methods with parameters, methods without parameters, methods with arguments. So these are the several varieties of methods which we have visited in the last class. So this is one kind of an example program. Today we start with this program. That is, it is a demonstration for parameterized method. So what do you mean by parameterized method? Parameterized method is nothing but which contains parameters so that you can write the program with an efficient manner. So in this program, we have a class called box, and we have variables, instance variables like width, height, depth, and also one method called as volume, which will be calculating the volume of the box. Along with that, we have one more method that is called as set dimensions method. So this method will be giving values at the time of runtime. So this method will be invoked based on the object related to the class and also the values which are supplied to it. So in this program, we have a box demo class which contains a main method followed by two objects, that is mybox1 and mybox2. There are two objects are here. Based on these two objects, we will be calculating the volume as well as the dimensions, setting the dimensions as well as calculating the volume of the box. So to store the result, we need one more variable, that is double volume. So after that, we are setting the dimensions, something like this, that is mybox1 dot set dimensions 10, 20, 30. It means the first object values are 10, 20, 30, which contains width, height, and depth. First object. Now second object contains width, height, depth with values as 3, 6, 9. So in the next statement, we are trying to calculate the volume of the box and store the result into a variable called as volume, which is a local variable. So this is what we have to do when we want to access a volume method. Mybox1 dot volume, the result will be stored into volume variable, and we are displaying the same thing. And in the second object, we are trying to calculate the volume of the box, and the result will be stored into volume. Same variable will be used, and it will be displayed over here. So this is a demonstration for parameterized method. In the next topic is method overloading. This is most important topic as part of any programming language. So what happens here is in Java programming, it is illegal to use same method with the same signatures. It means add without parameters if you are using both. Let us say that I will show you one more screen. Here, one more screen. Not this one. Let me show you one more screen, that is okay. Okay, let me stop this share and I will screen share all the things. Total screen will be shared. Okay. I think everyone is able to see the two screens. That is, one is Notepad and one is PPT. So what happens when we are using method overloading? So method overloading is an important topic because it is illegal to use, that is something like void add, something like this. It is illegal if you are using same name with the same return types with the same parameters, number of list, let us say that. It is illegal in using this kind of a signature. To avoid this, we need to overload the same. If you want to use the same method for different purpose, then you have to define it differently. So that is the main purpose. Actually, method overloading purpose, main purpose is to access the method based on the different types of inputs. So what happens here is, if you are using same method name, so it is hard for the JVM to identify which method we are calling. So there should be some unique nature should be there for methods. For that reason, let us say that there is one method called as so there is one more method. So the purpose of the two methods is same, to add two variables, to add two variables. But there is one difference between the two methods. That is, first method is accessing integers, second method is accessing float. So there is one difference between them. So this is called as method overloading. If your program contains this type of methods, then we can say that your class containing method overloading concept. If you are able to see here something like this, if you're writing the method name something like this, what happens? It will be an error. So don't write such kind of a things. So it is not legal actually. And one more thing here we are mentioning, it is legal for a class to have two or more methods with the same, but with a different signature, not at the same signature. If you have a same signature, it is possible. When we discuss about method overriding, then we can say that this overloading concept will be overridden. We will discuss that one. Don't worry about that one. First of all, let us concentrate on method overloading. So method overloading purpose is to overload a method with the same name but different parameters. See, there are therefore the same named methods must be distinguished. There should be some difference by the number of arguments or the type of arguments. This is what happens with the method overloading. So overloading and hello, is there any problem? Overloading and inheritance are the two ways to implement polyform. Actually, overloading is a concept belongs to the polymorphism concept. Next, we will see a demonstration of overloading. So here there is a method called as void test, which is part of a class called overload demo. Overload demo. Overload demo is a class contains two methods, test, void test, and void test of int a, and void test of int a comma b, and there is a double test. What is happening? We are using the same method name, but the signatures are different, the way they use are different. The first method, test method, is not using any kind of parameters inside it. It is just simply no parameters in it. The second method, which is trying to display a value based on a single value, which is of type integer. And the third method is also accessing integers, but the number of parameters are different. And one more thing here we have to say, that is, you try to observe this void test int a and test of double a. So both have this one parameter only, but the type of the variables are different and the return types are different. So based on the values which have been supplied by the user, the JVM will recognize, or the compiler will recognize, which function to be called or which method to be called. So this is about overloading concept. So next important topic is constructors. Constructors are majorly used for initializing the instance variables of an object. As I discussed in the previous class, so constructors will create or initialize values for instance variables. So it is the responsibility of the constructor. Not only initializing variables, creating memory also is responsible of the constructors. And one more important point, it is called immediately after the object created. Object is created. Okay, it means that before object creation itself, the constructor will be called by the JVM. And one more thing here, it is syntactically same to a method. It means that it looks like a method. So it looks like a normal method also. But the second point differentiates between the normal method to a constructor. So what is the difference between a normal method to a constructor? So as we said in the first point, it is similarly looking like a method. But there is one difference is there, that is, it has the same name as the name of its class. So the class name and the method name will be the same. So that is the only difference which we have a constructor. And one more important point, that constructors does not have return type. This is the most important point. That is, every constructor does not have any return type. It means that it does not have any kind of return type. So let us see what happens in the program also. So when the class has no constructors, let us say that if a class does not have any constructor, then a default constructor will be initialized or added by the JVM. Okay, when you are not creating any constructor in your program, then the JVM responsibility is to add a default constructor in your program by initializing instance variable with the zeros. I think everyone understood this point. Let us see the program. So here you are try to observe the same program, that is a box with three variables, that is instance variables, width, height, depth. And you are trying to see here there is one more thing is here, box. Box. What do you mean by this box here? This is a constructor. This is a constructor because it is looking like a method, but there is a difference with the normal method, that is the class name and the method name are same. Class name and method name are same, and the purpose of the constructor is to initialize these variables, instance variables, and try to allot memory. So this is about a constructor. And you can see here there is a volume method. You can calculate the volume of the box by using a constructor here. We are not giving any values from outside. We are directly, whenever you create an object for this class, immediately they will be initializing to 10, 10, 10, width 10, height 10, depth 10. So this is what happens with the constructor. At the time of creating an object, the constructor will be called. So calling a constructor is nothing but it is initializing values to the variables, instance variables. Based on the values, this volume method will be calculating the volume of the box. So next one is, in constructors there are different types are also there. That is, a normal constructor will be there, that is a constructor without parameters. Then there is one more constructor called as parameterized constructor. So in this you are able to pass values to the instance variables from outside. At the time of creating an object, you can give the values to this constructor for initializing instance variables. Let me show you the screen. What happens here is, in the previous example, that is this one, this is so with this program, that is a constructor with no parameters. So how to execute this program? Java. You save it as demo.java under Java programs. But here we didn't have main method. You try to see here, there is no main method here. We should write the main method here, that is class class demo. Okay, box demo. After this, you just open brace. After that, public static void main string args. After that, you create an object. Simply you create an object, the values will not be supplied to it. That is, you will be creating an object here, box b1 equals to equals to new box of simply. That's it. The only thing you have to do is creating an object. So whenever this object is created, at the time of creating this object, this constructor will be called. So this constructor will be called means it is initializing the values width, height and depth to 10, 10, 10. So I saved it as boxdemo.java. I save it once again. Compile this one. Let me show you this. So we have integral series that. Let me check this whether it is installed or not. So it is installed. So Java C. Java C box demo dot Java. Okay, I'm compiling it. Okay, nothing found. Okay, let me. What happened? Box demo is not available. File not found. Let me see where I saved it. Okay, box D demo. Okay, I typed it incorrectly. So let me type the class name. But it will be a problem if you have. Let me, yeah, here box demo is there, but the file name is different. See, all of you observe here. Be careful. See, the file name is box D demo. What happens with this signature? If your class name and the file name is not same, so what is the problem which you can face? That is, while compiling, I will type the same file name. Try to understand here. While compiling your Java program, box D demo is the file name which I give to the program. I saved it as box D demo. I will press enter button. What happens here is it will compile. So which file I need to execute the same file? Yes or no? Java is what I have to do normally. But try to see what happened here. Could not find or load main class box D demo because the file name is different and the class name is different. So on which name I have to execute? So on which name dot class file has been generated? So what we have to do? Java box demo. Then the output will be displayed. See, that is what happened with this. I wrote something like box D demo over here, but the class name is box demo. So I compiled with this name, I run with this name. So it is hard to remember the class names here. It is very much hard to remember the class names which have been used in the program. So for that purpose, the best practice of creating a file name is with the class name. So make sure that you will be saving your program with a name which is used for class should be same as the file name. If it is not same, you are compiling with one name and running with the other name. So this is what happens with your programs when you are not saving with the same name as a class name. So this is about running the program. So this is what happens at the time of creating an object that will be done. See, in the previous program, we wrote only created only object. It is displaying constructing a box. I didn't call the volume method. That's why it is not displaying the value of it. Okay, it is clear, I think so. In the parameterized constructor, what we are trying to do at the time of creating an object, you will be passing the values to it. Just now I shown, while creating an object, you just pass the values to it. Something like this. I will show you once again. That is box D demo file. See, at the time of creating here, okay. Let me copy this. Copy this. I think it is less than 8 minutes. So show you one more example. This is a parameterized constructor. Previous one is default constructor or a normal constructor. So this is a parameterized constructor. In this also we don't have main method. What we have to do? We have to write class demo1 2. Demo1 2. Open this. We will write public static void main. After that strings string args, and after that this one. After that we will be creating an object for the box class box box is b2 equals, we can give any name, okay, meaningful name, box 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 of 10, sorry, 1 comma 2 comma 3. Let us say that we are giving three values because width, height and depth, followed by semicolon. And what we do, b2 dot volume, we are calling the volume method here. Okay, so what happens here is it is returning the value. So it is returning a value means we need one more variable here. So before creating an object, we should create one more variable, that is double D followed by semicolon. So it should store the values here. So D equals to, so after that we have to put system dot print of D, simply D. I'm not going for any kind of formatting the output. Just I am typing it and closing it. And I will save it as, so on which name I have to save? Wherever main method is there, that class name should be possible here. That is demo12.java. Okay. So I saved it. I will go for compiling this program. That is command prompt, go to command prompt, E drive, sorry. So cd jtab java c demo 12.java. So this is what happens. See what happened. File not found. Demo 12. Why demo not found? Demo 12 is a class name. File name is also demo 12. So where is the problem here? Where is the problem? Let me check this. So file not found. So where did I saved it? That is what the main reason. Where did I save it? So it is saved under desktop, but I didn't save under E drive. So I will cut it and I will paste it in the E drive. So no, it will be working now. So compiled. Next, Java demo 1.2. It is displaying 6.0. That is 1 into 2 into 3. That is 6.0. It is a double value. So this is what happens at the time of creating the constructors. So this is a usage of parameterized constructor. This is normal constructor. I think everyone understood with this constructor concept. If you have any doubts, please raise the questions in the chat box. Anyone, if you have any doubt, please raise the questions in the chat box. Everyone able to listen me or hear me. I think Shravani, roll number 26. Are you able to understand, ma'am? Roll number 26. Try to unmute yourself. You understood the concept of constructor? Because based on this constructor, we are going to write so many programs. I will send you programs list also. Roll number 26. అర్థమవుతుందమ్మా?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, mute yourself. Anyone. Those who didn't understood the constructor concept, how they have been used, a default constructor will be there and also parameterized constructor will be there. So the major purpose of the constructor is to initialize the instance variables. So initiating instance variables are done through constructors, either by using default constructor or parameterized constructor. So if your class contains a default constructor, JVM will not create a default constructor for your program. If your program does not contain a default constructor, then JVM will be including a default constructor with your program. Try to see these differences. That is, whenever your program contains a constructor, default constructor, or any constructor, parameters constructor, then JVM will not include an extra constructor to your program, an excessive constructor in your program, if your program contains a constructor. Otherwise, JVM will not, JVM will include, the JVM will include a constructor when you are not writing any constructor in your program. Okay. I think everyone understood with this topic. It is less than 1 minute. There is constructor overloading. Constructor overloading is nothing but using both default let me discuss this tomorrow. Until now, you know that there is a method overloading, constructor overloading. And there are difference between method and a constructor. Method is a regular name, but constructor will have a same name as the class name. Purpose of the constructor is to initialize the instance variables, either by using default or parameterized constructor. Okay, I think everyone understood with this topic. We will continue the remaining topic, that is constructor overloading, in the next class. Thank you one and all.